Hi, how are you doing today? I'm doing fine. Today, we're going to do a lesson called A Day at the Museum. Are you ready? Let's go! First, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. My name is Jordan Myron. I am from Minnesota in the United States. As you can see on the map, Minnesota is in the middle of the country, right next to Canada. I arrived in Israel in August. I am an artist and an art teacher, and I love to do yoga. Now, we're going to start the lesson. What are we going to do today? First, I'm going to show you around the museum where I live in the United States. Then, we will talk about how to write about art. And we will look at a painting and practice talking about it and about the artist who made it. Then, you will find a painting that you like and write about it. Before we start, ask yourself, can you tour museums on the internet? Understand texts about famous artists and famous art? And can you write about a piece of art that you like? By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to say yes to all of those. What do you need for class today? You need a notebook, a pencil, and an eraser. Take a minute and go find these materials and then come back. Do you have your materials? Are you ready? Let's go. Before we begin, let's do something a little different. Answer this question in your notebook. Which of these places is your favorite to visit, and why? Do you like to visit the beach, the mall, or the park? Take a minute, answer the question, and then I'll share my answer with you. Do you have your answer? Great. My favorite place to visit is the beach because I love the sound of the waves. Now, let's go on to the lesson. I'm going to show you around my favorite museum where I live in Minnesota. It's called the Minneapolis Institute of Art. This is the entrance to the museum. If you look up, there's a big sculpture of a sun by an artist named Dave Chihuly. Then, once you start to go into the museum, there's a shop, a restaurant, and a lot of beautiful art. This is one of my favorite rooms in the museum. I love the paintings in here. They're so colorful and beautiful. Let me show you a painting that I really like. Some great colors, aren't they? Later in the lesson, I'll show you how you can use this tool to explore different museums around the world. But now, we're going to learn how to talk about some of the art that we see in museums. What do we know already? art museums have many famous paintings by many different artists. When we learn about an artist's life, it can help us to better understand their art. Let's look at a painting now. I'm going to tell you about my day at the museum. I saw this painting. It's called Frank by the artist Chuck Close. I love to go to the museum. There are so many different pieces of art to see. One of my favorite paintings is called Frank by the artist Chuck Close. Chuck Close is an American artist from New York. He is famous for making big portraits of people. Sometimes they have a lot of different colors. Sometimes they are black and white. Frank is a black and white painting that Chuck Close painted from a photograph. From far away, the painting looks like a photograph, but up close, you can see all the paint. The canvas is very big, about 2.5 meters wide by 3 meters tall, 10 times bigger than the original photograph. The paint on the canvas is very, very thin. There are a lot of details. You can even see the hairs on Frank's chin and the city in his glasses. Chuck Close used a lot of different tools to create all the details. Now that we've read the text, copy these WH questions into your notebook. Then we'll answer them about the text. Take 1 minute to copy the questions. Have you finished copying the questions? Great. Now let's look at the text one more time, and you can answer the questions in your notebook. Read the text again and answer the questions. Then we'll check your answers. How did it go? Do you feel like you learned something about Chuck Close and his painting, Frank? Let's check your answers now. See how you did. Number 1. Who is Chuck Close? Chuck Close is an American artist or painter. Number 2. Where is Chuck Close from? Chuck Close is from New York. Number 3. What does Chuck Close paint? Chuck Close paints very big portraits of people. Number 4. What is Frank? Frank is a large black and white painting by Chuck Close. And number 5. Why are Chuck Close's paintings special? For this one, you might have a different answer. That's okay. My answer for number 5 was Chuck Close's paintings are special because they have so many details and they are very large. Now, we're going to take a closer look about how we can write about an art piece and about an artist. First, we'll practice writing about a piece of art. Let's look at Frank one more time. Frank is a black and white painting that Chuck Close painted from a photograph. From far away, the painting looks like a photograph, but up close, you can see the paint. The canvas is very big, about 2.5 meters by 3 meters, 10 times bigger than the original photograph. The paint on the canvas is very thin. There are a lot of details. You can even see the hairs on Frank's chin and the city in his glasses. Chuck Close used a lot of different tools to create all of these details. Now, take a moment and write 2 facts about the painting Frank. All right. Did you write your 2 facts? Let's take a look at a couple things you could have written. What did you write about the painting Frank? Here are some possible answers. Frank is a very large black and white painting. There are a lot of details in the painting. You can even see the hairs on his chin. If you wrote some other facts, that's okay, so long as it's something that you read in the text. Great job. Now, let's practice writing about the artist, Chuck Close. One of my favorite paintings is called Frank by the artist Chuck Close. Chuck Close is an American artist from New York. He is famous for making very big portraits of people. Sometimes they have a lot of colors. Sometimes they are black and white. Chuck Close has trouble remembering people's faces, and painting portraits of people helps him remember better. Now, write 2 facts you remember about the artist Chuck Close. Take 1 minute and write your facts from the text. Did you write your facts? Let's take a look at some possible answers. What did you write about the artist Chuck Close? Maybe you wrote, Chuck Close is from New York. Maybe you wrote, Chuck Close paints pictures of people to help him remember faces. Maybe you wrote, Chuck Close is famous for making very big portraits. All of these answers are great, or any other answer that you found in the text. Okay. Now, we're going to use these tools that we just learned about writing about an art piece and the artist who made it to write about an art piece you choose. We're going to go to the Google Arts and Culture website, and we're going to explore different museums to find a work of art that you like. You'll read about it and about the artist. You'll write 2 or 3 sentences about the artist and 2 or 3 sentences about the artwork. Now, I'm going to show you how to use the Arts and Culture website to find a work of art that you like.
Today, I'm going to show you how to find works of art in the Google Arts and Cultures app, then find more information about that art using Google. First thing you want to do is in your browser, open a new tab or a new window. Then go to the Google Arts and Culture app. And click Explore at the top of your page. From here, if you scroll down to Collections, click View All, and you will see all sorts of different collections of artwork from around the world. I'm going to organize mine from A to Z. And I'm going to go to T and go to the Tel Aviv Museum of Art. From here, I can choose any of the paintings I see and I have all of the details and information, the name of the painting, who made it, and when they made it, as well as how big it is, and who gave it to the museum, and what it's made of. Now, I'm going to highlight, copy, and in a new tab, paste the title of the painting and the artist to learn more about the painting. And you can read all about the artist and the painting from different results on Google.
You can also go to the museum where the painting is and find more information about it. For this painting, you could go to the Tel Aviv Museum of Art, find it in the collection, and read all about it on the museum website. Now that you know how to find a work of art using the Google Arts and Culture app, you're going to find your work of art and look for information on it on Google or on the museum's website and write 2 or 3 sentences about the artist and 2 or 3 sentences about the artwork for a full paragraph about the work of art. You have 15 minutes. Take your time, find a work of art that you really like, and have fun. If you need a hint on how to write about your artist or your artwork, remember what we did with Frank. When we wrote about Chuck Close, we learned about where he lived and what he usually paints. When we talked about the painting Frank, we talked about how big it is, how the artist made it, and some of the details that we see in the painting. You have 8 minutes left to finish your assignment. finish up your sentences and we'll finish up the lesson. Did you have fun finding a piece of art and writing about it? Doesn't it feel cool to learn about the artist and more about the art? I really like it, and I hope you did too. So what did we learn today? Today, we learned how to write about a piece of art and about the artist who made it. At the beginning of the lesson, I told you that you could tour museums on the internet, understand texts about famous art and artists, and write about a piece of art that you like. Do you feel like you can do these now? Write these sentences in your notebook if you feel like you can do these things. Great. Now, for just one more thing. Remember at the beginning of the lesson when I showed you around the museum where I live? I'm going to show you how you can explore museums virtually from your couch or from your living room with the Google Arts and Culture app. Watch this video so that you can do it too.
For something extra, if you want to explore a museum like I did at the beginning of the lesson, follow along in a new window in your browser. Go to the Google Arts and Cultures app, then on their home page, scroll down until you get to Take a Virtual Tour with Street View. View All, and scroll down until you find the museums. I'm going to go to the Uffizi Galleries in Florence. And here you can explore the different museums around the world from your home. Have fun.
All right. Now you know how to explore museums with Google Arts and Culture from your living room. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you had a good time, and I'll see you again soon.